gentlemen, please rise. Mr. Galanti, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our first responders, our veterans, and this week we ask that you keep in your thoughts and prayers the family of George Summer. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Had a busy week. We had a budget presentation. We had organization night on Monday. I had the honor and the privilege of swearing in Trustee Solosky to complete the my unexpired term from last year, and I could not be happier to have Trustee Solosky on this board. She has been an outstanding addition to this board. So glad to be able to have her, and that she shares her time between us and her grandchildren who are here on Monday. So, and we certainly know where we stand in that
Yeah.
order, but as we should. But again, congratulations, Trustee. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you heard earlier, we had our budget hearing. As we've done over the last 12 years, we have repealed the law that we passed early in the year, enabling us to pierce the tax cap. Once again, we will not be piercing the tax cap. We are looking to vote on the budget at the April 19th meeting. If you want access to the budget, you can find it online. You can reach out to the village clerk, and he will provide you with a copy here at Village Hall. The budget at this time is at 1.79% tax levy increase, which is it's less than $300,000 in terms of the complete budget, and it equates to about $65 a year increase to the average homeowner. And with that, as you heard during our work session, we have many plans that are in the works, including starting the process of looking to update our pool. We've also this year completed our Little League infields with turf. We are looking to make improvements to our playgrounds, and of course the normal day-to-day operations of the village as well, so concerts in the park, etc. I would like to wish everyone a happy Easter this weekend, happy Passover. Those of you who are traveling, travel safe, enjoy. Spring has arrived, and it's beautiful to drive down Mineola Boulevard and some of our streets and start to see the blossoms coming out. So although we didn't have a harsh winter, it's always nice to come out of winter and start to see baseball, parades, and the like. So happy Easter, happy Passover. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to just echo Mayor Pereira's well wishes. Congratulations once again, Trustee Solosky. We are truly lucky to have you here on this board. The whole town benefits from that, so congratulations.
Thank you.
As we're coming out of winter, I just want to congratulate all of the student athletes for the winter athletics. We just had the boys and girls bowling team here because they made states, and they're, once again, second year in a row. They're fabulously and successful. Last night, the Board of Education honored all of the other athletes who made all conference and all county, so congratulations to all of them. It's not very easy to be a student athlete, and these children are not just good in classes, good athletically. Some of them are doing a lot of other things in service within our community. I know, for example, Kelsey Morrison is the class president for her student body. So these kids are very, very busy, and they're very accomplished. So their success is truly amazing. So congratulations to all of you. As Mayor Pereira said, summer is coming. So the leisure passes are now available. So I encourage you all to go get a leisure pass. Our pool is definitely a jewel in our crown. It is, you can't beat the price of what the pool pass is and what you get for it. And now that Wilson Park is also newly renovated, there's so much there for everybody in the family. There's new basketball courts, pickleball courts, which apparently are hot to get on, tennis courts, everything. So it's a wonderful place to spend your summer. So I encourage you to get leisure passes from our leisure office. And lastly, Good Friday sanitation schedule has changed. So there is no corrugate pickup this week at all. And check your sanitation brochure for Thursday's pickups in your area because it's most likely changed. And with that, I want to wish everybody a very happy Passover and a very happy Easter.
Thank you. Trustee Casada?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I, too, want to congratulate Trustee Salaski
Thank you.
on her reelection. Definitely an asset to our village and to this board. I also want to thank those who attended and supported the Junior Fire Department's pasta dinner that took place on Sunday, March 26th. A great fundraiser for them and a great event for our community. And you know what? There are core people that come like every year. And thank God for that. They come like every year. They have their reserved, unreserved seats. So thanks to them that showed up. Unfortunately, due to rain, Saturday's MAA Little League Parade was canceled. But I did want to thank those moms and dads who literally stepped up to the plate to get involved with this year's MAA programs, Little League Baseball, softball, cheerleaders, and soccer. And this marks the 67th year of the MAA. And Mayor, you know what? I might have been there on day one.
We have pictures to prove it.
Black and white.
Definitely black and white.
Last night was Mineola Macaroni Night, a fundraiser for the Mary Brennan Inn, and a shout out to Uncle Bacalas who donated the pasta. Kudos to them, great job. And finally, Trustee Salaski and I were at the Historical Society meeting, the Mineola Historical Society meeting last Tuesday night, and just want to mention that their president, Tom Murder, was reelected for another year as their president.
Great job.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Trustee Clark?
Congratulations, Donna, on your reelection.
Thank you. Thank
Pleasure
you.
working with the board. Look forward to another year. This year, the income tax day has changed. It's April 18th.
Oh.
So it's rapidly approaching, so keep that in mind as you pay your income taxes to get those filed on time. And I think the Little League parade was rescheduled.
No, the parade's not rescheduled. The ribbon cutting for the field is
Oh, okay.
rescheduled to April 22nd. Thank you for bringing that up. So part of the parade, at the end of the parade, we traditionally have a ceremony. So the ceremony has been rescheduled for 10 a.m., April 22nd, Field 1, Mr. Reedy? Field 1. Field 1. We will do a ceremonial ribbon cutting, although I believe that they are already playing on it, and which is fine. They can't wait for us. Baseball waits for no one. And we'll have the awards given out. So yes, April 22nd. No parade, but ceremony.
Okay, thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, Trustee Slosky.
Everything I was going to say has been said, but I just want to emphasize the Mineola macaroni last night. We don't hear enough about what kids are doing today that is good. The news seems to always focus on the bad that is happening out there in the world. And these kids are out there raising money, working at the inn, and really giving back to a population that really needs our help. So kudos to them. And again, happy Easter and happy Passover to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. We also attended the Lions Club annual Palm Sunday breakfast last week. Again, this is the season, and just to see this community, from the students to the adults to the first responders to the veterans, just really a giving community through and through. You know, Faith Mission right here was featured in Newsday this week. And I'm glad and proud and privileged to be part of such a community that does, again, a lot with not as much as some other places may have or some other people may have. I also wanted to mention that one of our local businesses, Taglio's, was featured on Chopped, and of course, he won. And so again, the kudos keep coming in. If you've never had an opportunity to try their pizza, it's delicious, but not just theirs. There's a new pizzeria that opened up on Main Street, and that store has been continuously a pizzeria since I've been here. I believe it was Rose's for a long time, going back to the 70s. So there's a new pizzeria on Main Street. Restaurants are opening. We're going to some ribbon cuttings and a chamber. We went to the chamber meeting earlier this month at Lisbon Cafe. It was a great chamber meeting, very well attended, and some great news coming out of that organization as well. So great things are going on. Again, sign up for email, text, alerts so that you are aware of all of that. If you have not done so already, look up our concerts in the park. This year we're also having a concert on 2nd Street, and we are including food trucks for the concerts in the park. Obviously not the concerts on 2nd Street because we're trying to help the restaurants on 2nd Street. But we will have food trucks available at our Memorial Park events, okay? Any comments? With that, I'll open it up to public comment. Anyone? 4th row, Mr. Galanti.
Good evening,
Good
Mayor,
evening.
and
How are
to
you?
the board, and I want to add my congratulations also to Donna Swalasky on her election as trustee. We go back more years than either one of us want to admit.
That's so
But-
true.
But I've always been Donna's #1 fan. She's a terrific, community-minded person, takes so much after her parents and all they gave to the community as well, and just want to congratulate.
Thank you, Joe.
Also, sorry to hear about the passing of George Summer that you mentioned earlier. I didn't realize that he had passed, and just would like to say that he was a real class act. I remember him as a terrific baseball coach, a great volunteer, a community-minded person as well, and a great family, so condolences to his family.
And if I may add, Mr. Galanti, you know, Mr. Summer has been quite ill and homebound for some
Yeah.
time, and he would always ask for an absentee ballot, and he would always vote, both he and his wife Helena. It was incredible when he had all these other problems. Talk about somebody who's civically minded, who cares about their community. And I remember, you know, speaking to him and speaking to his son Paul, who I work with,
Right.
but right to the end, always cared about community. I mean, that family certainly dedicated their life to this community, like so many others, like
Yeah.
the Galantis and the Solaskis and the Casados, and not to leave you newbies out.
But thank you, Mayor. And I just came to the meeting tonight with a concern that I had having to do with the demolition of the Randy's Cleaners at 300 Jericho Turnpike. And I'd like to preface this by saying I'm fully in support of the renovation and expansion that the Portuguese American Center is planning. I think that's a great idea. I think it's going to do wonders for that area, and you know, certainly the center has played such an important role in the community and is such a great place. We had my daughter's communion party there, and it was terrific. But my concern had to do with the fact that that property had been a dry cleaner for over 50 years, and before that, a gas station for at least 20 or more years. When I saw the fencing go up and the demolition equipment there late on a Friday afternoon, I tried to reach out to the village. I wasn't able to reach anybody in the building department at that time. So I reached out to the DEC thinking that maybe they would know, you know, what goes into demolishing a property like that and if there's any special regulations. They referred me to the Nassau County Department of Health, who I spoke to on the following Monday, so it was Monday the 27th. By then, the building was down. It was demolished on a Saturday, the 25th of March, and my concern is that, you know, with the use of that property for so long, and we've had other issues with other facilities in the village with groundwater pollution and plumes and things like that. I wanted to ask, the Department of Health told me that in a case like that, that the village should have conducted some sort of soil samples in conjunction with the property owner, and also that the owners of the property should have also gone to the Department of Health for a rodent inspection prior to tearing down the building. I just wanted to make sure that all those protocols were followed, Because when I went by, when they were demolishing the building, a lot of piping, a lot of other things under the ground that they were pulling up with the demolition equipment.
Right. So as far as I know, and this is, so that whole process, as you know, went before the Board of Zoning and Appeals, not this board,
Okay.
right? So I'm not very familiar with their application, or with the demolition. I assume that that was obviously approved by Mr. Whalen, who was very competent, who obviously knew the law. As far as the rodent letter, I can pretty much guarantee that they did get that, because the demolition company that I also saw there is a reputable demolition company who, of course, would know that they need to get that. That's a pretty standard kind of thing, just as before, I believe Mr. O'Keefe mentioned that the house that had been demolished over on Jerome, they have to get it. That's pretty standard. As far as the soil sample, I don't know. I can find out for you. The history of the building, from people that I've spoken to, even before the demolition, is that yes, it was a gas station, and I believe the Portuguese Center purchased it sometime in the 1970s, and Randy's Cleaners was there for years. I used to use Randy's Cleaners, and then they moved on, probably about 10 years ago, and this tenant had not been paying rent for quite some time, as has happened to many landlords due to COVID and the pandemic. But I believe that the intention of the Portuguese Center is to make that into a parking lot, not to build on it. So there will be no excavation, there will be no footings, to my understanding. Again, that went through the BZA, but I have not heard otherwise. So I think that, but I will confirm this, that what was demolished is going to be a parking lot, which I think is a good thing, because more parking is good. More parking for Chaminade was good. More parking for the Portuguese Center is good. More parking for the Cornerstone would be great, because it alleviates, you know, Marcellus and Bauer and all of the Walter. And I only wish that about 25 or 30 years ago, I guess, maybe 25, the center had the opportunity to buy that lot next to them that is now Chaminade's lot.
Right.
And Chaminade is gracious enough, my understanding is, to off hours allow the center to use them, so there's like an opening between them. So that is my understanding, that it is, and perhaps that may address the sampling part of it. If you're not digging down, if you're not going into the dirt, if you're just going to essentially pave over it, perhaps the requirements are different. But I will get you an answer, and I will get back to you. And if it's anything different than what I've heard, but I'll check with our building department to see what the plans are. But I believe that it is not to build anything on that property, but rather to create additional parking.
Great, okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming down here and getting as much information as you can, and I encourage everyone to do the same.
Yeah.
Call the village, call the Department of Health, call, absolutely. That's how you get information, go to the source.
Right,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Right.
If I could just add one other comment. At the work session, I know you approved the funds for the, I guess,
The pool.
the pool design project, which is great. I think that's terrific that you're moving forward with that. The one thing I would just encourage the board to think about is perhaps doing a visioning process prior to that design work being done, so that you can get input from people who both use the pool and maybe people who don't use the pool currently, to see what would bring them there.
This is exactly what this is.
Right,
This is
okay,
exactly
so
what
it
this
is,
So
it's a
we're-
visioning,
yeah,
not that
yeah.
they're just gonna
This
design
isn't-
something.
This is not the engineering.
Okay.
I wish the engineering part was $43,000.
Yeah.
No, so this is essentially gonna be that. This
Oh,
is
good,
going to
okay.
be, you know, DMB is gonna go out and they're gonna give us different idea. We're going to kind of weigh in, but the public can weigh in as well.
Right.
And this is kind of give us an idea of, well, this is what you can do here, this is where you can put a spray pool, this is how do you want the bathhouses to be covered, not covered, yeah, how do you want this done? So this is essentially conceptual, right, to give us some ideas, and then we're gonna get into the weeds of both the design and of course the cost, right?
Okay.
Because we'd all love,
Right,
you know, Taj Mahal, but
Right.
we're not gonna necessarily get that. But, you know, you and I had a conversation about
Right.
this not that long ago, and, you know, it's time, and perhaps it was time 5 years ago, but now is as good a time as any to
Sure.
get the ball rolling, for sure.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
we're looking forward.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Galante,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else at seventh row?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Frank Aware, BB Road. I wonder if you heard anything, or if there was a problem. Monday, when I was coming from the organization meeting, the gas station on the corner of Wilson and BB, there was supposedly an arson attempt, and I guess they cleaned it up, but what I know, the fire department was there for quite a while, and the fire marshal was there,
Yep.
the police were there.
Yep.
They supposedly, kids broke in and doused the place with gasoline?
So, yes, while we were at organization night, we got
Yeah.
a fire call.
Right.
Our building department superintendent, Mr. O'Keefe, went over there. The fire department responded. I don't know if it was an arson attempt, but there was a flammable liquid thrown on the floor. It was not ignited, it was not lit,
Oh, okay.
but they did break into the facility. I believe our fire department did what they call a washdown, right? They kind of
Oh, I'm
just
sure they did,
cleaned it
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Then Mr. O'Keefe waited until the property owner arrived with materials to secure the building.
Yeah, I saw they were
And-
working on
and-
it,
and
right.
that's what he did. I believe that was around 10 PM. But yeah, that property certainly is a property that we are in conversations with the property owner, because it's very
Oh, it's been
complex, the
vacant for a
zoning
long time, yeah.
and the zoning and what he wants to do and what can be done as of right is kind of complicated, so we
Mm.
certainly want to get that. But we have been on top of the owner for years about maintaining the property, and he has certainly done a better job. Of
I think
course,
they took the tanks out, right? In the
I believe
underground
that
tanks?
originally they took the tanks out, but this would be a situation where certainly anything that is being built there would have to, of course, you know, be inspected and tested, because that was a gas station and only a gas station for years
Oh,
and years and years.
many,
right?
many years, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yep, so you're correct, that there was a break-in, kids, but we don't know who.
Because I noticed that lately, that every once in a while I see kids, I thought they were just playing in the lot with their bikes and stuff, but more and more now, I was talking to some of the neighbors, and it's getting to be a hangout.
Well, if you
So-
see something, you know, certainly
Yeah.
call the police. I know that weather's getting warmer, kids are out on bicycles. I know that the Third Precinct Pop Cops just came over to the school district to do a whole presentation about bike safety, because there's this whole thing called Bike Life, and they literally ride in the middle of the streets. I think some of us have seen it. It's very dangerous, and I think that there needs to be an education component, but there also needs to be a responsibility component on the part of the parents to make sure that you know where your kids are and what they're doing, what they're up to, and so there's that part, and then there's a responsibility on the part of us, the residents, that if we see something that is off, make a phone call and call 911. I called 911 on Monday because there were people on motorized motorcycles, motorized bikes, doing wheelies down by Hampton Street. And so I dialed 911, right? So that's all you do. And they took my call and they responded.
Be nice to get it demolished, but that's it, I know, that's hard. Right.
Well, the demolishing part would be hard for the property owner to demolish without something guaranteed to be able to put it back,
Right.
right? So we're working on that.
Alrighty, but they did, I'm sure the fire department made it safe. You know,
Yes,
so, yeah.
absolutely. They made it safe, and then the property owner secured it by
Yeah.
boarding it up. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean that
because
they
the
can't
fire
break it
marshal
again,
was
but-
there till like 10 o'clock too,
Yep,
so, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Alrighty,
Yep.
good enough.
Okay.
Made me feel
Thank
better.
you, Mr. Boyer. Okay, anything else from the board? Okay, and just one last thing I would like to, just came to my mind. The Mineola High School robotics team has qualified for the national championships in Houston They went to the regional championships up in Rochester about a month ago. They qualified for the nationals in Houston, Texas on April 19th. So good luck to the robotics team. So athletics, arts, robotics, we're doing it all,
And
okay?
and the teachers involved?
Yeah, well, some of us were more involved when we were younger. Now we just sit back and watch and let the young ones do it. Okay, again, happy Easter, happy Passover. I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Motion?
Motion by
Second.
trustee Solosky, second by trustee Sato. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Have a great night, everyone.